In this short demonstration, me and Obelix are taking a look at the importance of using the proper formations when you are engaging shock cavalry with melee cavalry. The balance of shock cavalry versus melee cavalry is slightly different than shock infantry versus melee infantry, because shock infantry has, although it has a high charge, it also has very high weapon damage. But shock cavalry does not have a high amount of melee damage. It has a very low amount of melee damage. That has been changed somewhat now in patch 1.3, because many more shock cavalry units now have a hefty bonus versus large, meaning that their 12 melee damage actually is 32. Well, it's not nearly as high as the melee damage of the Noble Germanic Horse and the Lani Horse when you apply the relevant bonuses. It's still enough to make shock cavalry more powerful against melee cavalry, and you can see that here by how many casualties are caused by the Royal Lancers against the Noble Germanic Horsemen on the charge. The Noble Germanic Horsemen, even though this is on slow speed, the Noble Germanic Horsemen just disappear and the Royal Lancers barely take any casualties. Now, what you would see previously with this, the Royal Lancers cause a lot of casualties on the charge, here as well. A lot of casualties being done here by the 270 charge bonus of the Royal Lancers. But then the melee cavalry would start to bring it back and start inflicting casualties. However, when you use here the diamond formation, that limits the amount of Royal Lancers that hit the other cavalry unit. So although casualties are still inflicted, it's usually a much better result for the melee cavalry unit. So head on here, the Royal Lancers losing 4 men, the Noble Germanics already wavering, the Noble Alani cavalry down to half strength, 7 Royal Lancers killed. But when you use the diamond formation, the Royal Lancers start dropping much quicker, and the melee cavalry, the Noble Alani with their 30 bonus, they are the first unit to win against a unit of Royal Lancers. The Royal Lancers only managing to kill 20 Noble Alani, and the Noble Alani still a combat effective unit. The Noble Germanic Horsemen just no chance, still very much combat effective are the Royal Lancers here. The Noble Germanics over here managed to win, not as decisively as the Noble Alani, but they still managed to win. And over here, the Noble Alani do better than the Noble Germanics, but let's just fast forward here to see what happens. The Royal Lancers are dropping very quickly now, but the Noble Alani took too much damage on the charge. So there you have it, really. The way to take shock cavalry head on with melee cavalry will still be to use your diamond formation. The diamond formation slows the unit down. This makes things complicated when there are missiles in the equation, because if there are missiles incoming here and you are getting hit with, let's say, slingshot on the way in, the Noble Alani cavalry just doesn't stand a chance. But here, 3 ranks deep, the Noble Alani cavalry were actually able to just defeat the Royal Lancers, which is a very good result there for the Noble Alani cavalry, being able to take on the Royal Lancers. But again, in a battlefield situation, it doesn't take many casualties or much hit point damage before this Noble Alani loses massively to the Royal Lancers on the charge. So diamond formation still very, very useful. Up against shock cavalry units, you want to limit the amount of melee cavalry units that get hit on the charge, and the diamond formation does just that. Don't take the formations head on, go into diamond and dominate. Strength and honor.